What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another stimulus update. So earlier on today, if you already saw my previous video, you know the House passed the $1.9 trillion stimulus package. It passed 220 to 211. Every single Republican voted against this $1.9 trillion stimulus package. And they voted against this not because they didn't support unemployment benefits, they didn't support stimulus checks in some way, they didn't support the child tax credit or vaccine funding. They didn't support this because they said it was too large. It's not something that we needed. Well, the bill passed, Republicans have no say in it, and President Biden will sign this bill. But I wanted to give you some new updates because there is more information that has come out about this stimulus package and when President Biden will sign this $1.9 trillion stimulus bill. So first, according to White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, she says President Biden will sign this bill on Friday afternoon in the White House. Now, I know a lot of people are very upset that why is he waiting? Why are we waiting an additional 2 days to get this signed into law? Well, according to multiple reports, it is because his schedule for tomorrow, today is Wednesday, the bill will most likely not be ready today. I mentioned this earlier on this week and as well last week as well, that this bill has to be engrossed in parchment paper, which means it's going to take a little bit more time. Some say it would take about 1 day. It's a 628-page bill, and it all has to be printed on parchment paper. So what we do know is that, according to the report, is President Biden first, he would sign this bill sometime tomorrow. However, his schedule, according to reports, supposedly doesn't make time for it. So the most important piece of legislation that he could be signing right now doesn't have any time in his schedule for it. Now, I personally, if I was president, or just me myself, if there was something that required my signature, let's say I'm buying a house, right? I would make time to go and do that. That's a very, very large purchase for any person. It's going to buy your house. Well, President Biden, this is going to be one of the biggest things that he signs, and yet he can't make time for it tomorrow. Okay. But according to another report, one of the reasons why is because the White House wants to make this a big deal. They don't just want a couple camera crews coming in, taking a few pictures, and then leaving. They want this to be a big deal because this is his first major bill. So that's kind of what we're hearing, is that this will be signed into law on Friday, which, according to a few other reports, there are multiple aides, both Democratic and Republican, that are saying there's no rush to get this bill signed today, simply because the key is to get this bill signed before Saturday. Saturday is the day when the unemployment insurance benefits expire, and that is the day that this bill has to be signed into law. So anytime before Saturday is pretty much the exact same thing, according to these aides. They also say that the stimulus checks won't impact people at this time because it's too far along into the month that the rent payments have already been due, and it's too far away from the end of the month that any new bills should be coming due as well. So because of that, they're saying being it's in the middle of the month, everybody should be fine for another week. Okay, well, that does make sense. People that paid rent or mortgages, they should have already made their payments. I get it, but what if people are behind? What if they use that money to pay for their rent and their mortgage? What if they use the money to buy food, or that they were supposed to use to buy food, to go and pay for their rent? Now they can't buy food for another week because we're kind of just waiting in limbo? Honestly, even though that's what these multiple aides said, from a couple Democrats and a Republican, what we do know is, even though President Biden's going to sign this on Friday, just to be 100% clear, if he signs this on Friday, we will most likely see these checks. They will most likely come through at the end of next week, according to reports on the first round of direct deposits. But you got to keep in mind, it's not just one round of direct deposits and then the rest go into paper checks and the prepaid debit cards. It's multiple rounds. So let's say the first round comes out, let's say next week, I don't know, let's say Thursday or Friday. Great. All those people, let's say 50 million Americans, get a stimulus check of $1,400 next Friday. Awesome. But then you got the rest of the people that still have to wait maybe another week or 2 weeks to get their direct deposits. And if it's anything like the IRS did last time when they screwed up for, over 10 million people, that's going to be a big issue as well. As if they're saying, actually it was more than 10 million. I think 10 million is just what H&R Block had to deal with. But if millions of people are getting a stimulus check sent to the wrong bank account and the IRS has to fix that, then it's not just waiting 1 week. It could potentially be 2, possibly 3 weeks, just because the IRS made another mistake. And my guess is they will make at least 1 or 2 mistakes in this round as well. And we do have more updates on the $1,400 stimulus checks, so let me address those as well. Again, more of these updates, more of this information, some guidance is starting to come out. So as we get more information there, I promise I will keep you updated on all that stuff. And I also will be addressing the infrastructure bill, President Biden's Build Back Better plan of roughly $3 trillion as soon as they start addressing that. So here's what we know. Reports now indicate that if you don't qualify for a full $1,400 stimulus check this year because your income was too high, let's say you're an individual and you made $78,000 in 2020, but in 2021 your income actually drops. What we know is that this is actually supposed to be a tax credit, not a payment. It's not a stimulus payment. It's supposed to be a tax credit that you get at the end of the year. However, the way the IRS set it up is you would get an advance on that tax credit. So what we know is that the remaining balance of the check, if you got a partial payment or you completely missed out on a stimulus check, if your income drops in 2021, when you file your taxes in 2022, you would actually get a credit for this of the $1,400. And if you have a spouse or you have children as well, you'd get the money for them as well. We also know that children born in 2021 will receive a full $1,400 stimulus check. A lot of people were questioning this, whether or not they would get a stimulus check for a child that was born in 2021, right before the stimulus check was or the package is signed, which was going to happen on Friday. Well, the truth is, anybody that's born in 2021 will get this stimulus check. The same as any child born in 2022, or actually 2020, would have received the $500 from the first stimulus check, and they would have also received the $600 from the second stimulus check as well. And the reason behind this, again, is because this is technically a tax advance or a tax credit that you get at the end of the year, but they're going to advance it. So that's kind of the way it works. And again, the IRS is, they're different, but this is how they're kind of structuring things as of right now. We also know that the reason behind this such a large package, such a large $1.9 trillion stimulus package, is because Democrats want to cut poverty rates, and they are going to effectively cut poverty rates by about 5%. This means that they're going to cut poverty rates. They're going to fall by about 42% for Black Americans, 39% for Hispanics, and also 34% for whites. So there's 34% and up is a very good number to cut it by. So what we do know is that this is one of the reasons why Democrats push for $300 per week as a boost. They really wanted $400 for this unemployment benefit, but they settled on $300 until September 6th. One of the reasons why is because, according to many studies, and this is studies not just today, but studies for years, decades probably, what we're seeing is that the unemployment rate directly impacts poverty. And obviously it does. As the unemployment rate increases, right, more and more people fall into below the poverty line because they don't have an income, or their children don't have a parent that is receiving an income, or at least a stable income for what it is. We also know right now that the $1,400 stimulus checks, that's another thing that's going to impact poverty rates as well. It's going to take a lot of people out of poverty. Some are saying that we're going to bring about 50% of children out of poverty just because of the $3,600 child tax credits and the $3,000 child tax credits as well. We also got a little bit of news there. What we're hoping, according to this report, is they're hoping that we will have some guidance. This, I guess, is coming from the White House or White House staffers, that they're hoping we will have guidance on the child tax credits, how you will be able to apply for them, if you will have to go and enter through a portal, which most likely would be set up through the IRS, and all that. We should have more guidance on that by the end of this month. So it's March 10th right now, so hopefully in the next 20 days we should have some more guidance on what's going to happen there, or at least kind of a framework of what the White House and the Biden administration is hoping to do. So that's good news there. We also are hearing a few reports that they want to have this portal, because it's supposed to be a portal. It's supposed to be a website where you can go and either opt in or opt out of the monthly payments. You can go and update your information, all this stuff. They want to at least have that website up, hopefully before June is what the reports are saying. But the payments aren't supposed to go out until July, so they want to have about 1 full month where people can start putting in their information. Because if you, let's say you have 50 million parents going into a website in 1 month, that's a decent amount of traffic. And if they haven't perfected the system, there could be a lot of glitches. There could be a lot of mistakes as well. So they want to get this up before the end of June, is according to the reports. And Democrats say that cutting poverty rates was one of their biggest reasons for passing such a large stimulus package. But they also say that even though, yes, they wanted to create such a large package to provide for many Americans, they are not done. They are going to be working over the next few weeks to try to get the next bills ready for President Biden's Build Back Better plan. Right now, according to many reports, they are saying that what was in the $1.9 trillion stimulus package was just a small taste of what's going to be in the Build Back Better plan. And according to a lot of reports, and this is something that I've been trying to look into a lot lately, because there's supposed to be a big difference. We're going to see more stimulus in this new package than what we saw in this $1.9 trillion package, which everybody's calling the stimulus bill. It was technically supposed to be a COVID relief bill. However, I believe the last report was less than 9% of the bill actually goes to address COVID. The majority of it goes to direct payments for the American people, unemployment, child tax credits, stimulus checks, and things like that. There's also a large portion that goes to state and local governments, some that goes to schools, and things like that. We also know right now, and again, there's more and more reports coming out as the days progress or as hours go by. But what we do know right now is that Republicans are pretty upset, and they were furious when they were debating this in the House. But they're pretty upset right now simply because they're saying that a lot of this money that's going out that they're going to have to spend is money that could have been used better, because it's not even going to be spent in 2021. And this is things like some state and local government funding will not even be spent. It's pretty much just going to be saved. And they also say that the money going to schools won't even be spent either, because they're still waiting on the money from the CARES Act to go to schools and actually be spent. Then they're saying on top of all of that, there's still money in the PPP program that hasn't been spent as well, but yet we're putting more money into the pot. So they have a lot of issues there, and they're saying that we could have done better with this money. And also they're addressing the $1,400 stimulus check, saying we're sending them to people that do not need them. And a lot of these people, according to reports and according to multiple studies, are just going to put the money in the stock market, save it, or pay off debt. Honestly, if they put it in the stock market, because right now we know that the IRS is going to reward people that are investing, that invest money, that have any assets, whether it's stocks, real estate, okay, a business. The IRS pretty much gives them more benefits than somebody that doesn't, is just a worker. So if they're investing, great. I think that's a good idea. If they're paying off debt, awesome. I bet they have more debt now than they ever had in their life because of this pandemic. So good job there. And if they're saving the money because they might need it for a rainy day in the future, great. I think that's awesome. I think it's better to save the money than to go and spend it on, let's say, a new mountain bike that you're never going to ride, or go buy the new PlayStation for 2 times what you can get it for at the store. So that's kind of what we're hearing. But again, as always, as I know more, I promise I'll come back and share more. Just wanted to fill you in on these few little updates, because they are major updates. They are some, pretty big, I think, as far in terms of who's going to get the stimulus check, when you could receive it, and when President Biden is ultimately going to sign this bill. So if you have any questions whatsoever, please ask your questions down in the comment section below. I just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.